Hi there. I've assembled here some books that I found quickly on Giordano Bruno. And the reason I did that was that I have a number of books on Bruno because I've been fascinated by him for a number of years. The Vatican today announced that it would be releasing its secret archives and putting them on display in Rome. It's the first time they have been on display in 400 years, this part of the secret Vatican archive. And supposedly part of it will be documents that pertain to Bruno. This is particularly fascinating to me because Bruno is a interesting freethinker who was a prototypical scientist and postulated a number of inhabited planets or exoplanets, although of course he didn't call them that, before we knew how prevalent exoplanets actually were, which seems extremely prescient. He knew so much. In the past, he was presented as a mystic, or, Frances Yates was one of the earlier scholars on Bruno, and she took a view that he was a different person than Hilary Gatti sees him. And Hilary Gatti sees him far closer to what I think he was, which was a proto-scientist. So it will be interesting to see how this pans out and what comes from the release of these secret Vatican documents. There will be a link to the release in the low bar. It's interesting also because how I got interested in Bruno himself was kind of funny, I guess. I found a book of his. Right here it is, actually. It was called the Cosmology. It's not of his, but it's by someone who was a librarian at in Paris. Paul-Henri Michel, The Cosmology of Giordano Bruno. And it was right after, I don't know if you can actually see that. That's not very clear. It was right after I started becoming interested. I was really young. Interested in astronomy, and I found this book. I sat down, I read the whole book in the library itself. Then I checked it out. I still own this book. I don't know if you can see this, but it's due on February the 17th. This is the way they used to check out books in prehistory. You got cards like this, and you signed your name. I don't think anybody remembers this, but I paid a reshelving fee of $5 so I could keep this book because it was so interesting to me. And I have owned it ever since. It had been in the library since 1973. It had been in forever, and nobody had ever checked it out. So I was the very first person to check this book out, and that was even quite a few years after it was acquired by the library. And so I've owned it for all these years in between. And it started me on an odyssey that took me to Europe a number of times, to Rome 4 times. Bruno is extremely interesting. And I'm really excited about the fact that some of these documents may be things that we haven't seen before. Who knows for sure? Some things have been released, and some things have been totally lost because for a number of reasons. I mean, the actual transcripts of the trial have been lost. But I'm hoping that there will be new material in this. Anyway, you guys take care. And really, I mean, Bruno is extremely interesting. Reading is extremely interesting. If you're not a reader, just wander in, pick up a book at a bookstore or a library. I mean, you might be like me, where you'll find one book that will engage your imagination and take you around the world and take you to Rome 4 times, which is what happened to me. So we'll see what happens with Bruno and what the new material will be. But I just think learning is just so exciting and so underrated. You guys take care of yourselves.